Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you're well. It is Tuesday, the 15th of October, 2024. What would Westminster truly lose if Scotland became independent? The financial impact would be immediate and immense. One of the most significant losses would be North Sea oil and gas revenues, a lifeline that has fueled the UK economy for decades. With an estimated 90% of UK's oil and gas reserves in Scottish waters, an independent Scotland would retain all of these resources in its geographical footprint. Losing this income stream would hit Westminster hard, especially as energy prices continue to surge globally. While North Sea production is in decline, the recent rise in oil prices shows just how vital these revenues still are. For Scotland, this would mean billions reinvested at home, strengthening its economy and ensuring a more sustainable future. But oil is just the start. Fishing rights would also be a major loss for Westminster. Scotland's rich marine resources provide a significant portion of the UK's fishing catch. By regaining full control over its waters, Scotland would manage these resources far more effectively. The UK fishing industry is already under great pressure post-Brexit and would lose access to Scottish waters, creating another economic blow for the Union. For an independent Scotland, control over fishing would not only boost its economy, but open new doors if Scotland rejoined the European Union. Access to EU fishing markets would enhance Scotland's leverage even further. And then there's renewable energy. Scotland is already a world leader in renewable energy, producing over 25% of Europe's offshore wind power. By gaining full control of this resource, Scotland could become a global hub for green energy, exporting clean energy to both the UK and the EU. Westminster, without access to Scotland's renewable energy, would be forced to invest more heavily in alternatives or rely on foreign energy imports. Losing Scotland's renewable potential would weaken the UK's climate strategy and energy independence at a critical time in the global shift towards sustainability. Beyond these resource losses, Westminster would face another challenge, a massive reduction in tax revenues. Currently, income tax, corporation tax, VAT and national insurance contributions from Scottish residents and businesses flow directly into the UK Treasury. An independent Scotland would keep these billions in tax revenues, leading to a major shortfall in the UK budget. To fill this gap, Westminster would need to either raise taxes across the remaining UK countries or cut public services. On top of that, Scotland could implement new tax policies, making it more attractive to businesses, potentially drawing economic activity away from the UK. One of the biggest strategic shifts would come if Scotland decided to rejoin the European Union, either as a full member or as EFTA. If Scotland were to re-enter the EU, it would regain access to the single market and the benefits of free trade. This could transform Scotland's economy, bringing in foreign investment and expanding trade relationships with Europe. For Westminster, this would mean losing a valuable economic partner. The UK, now isolated from the EU, would be further weakened geopolitically. In summary, Scotland's independence would mean substantial loss for Westminster in nearly every sector. Control over vital resources such as oil, gas and fishing, renewable energy would slip from its hands. Billions in tax revenue would remain in Scotland, leaving Westminster scrambling to fill a fiscal hole. The loss of Scotland's energy capacity would cripple the UK's climate and energy strategy at a time when energy security is paramount. But perhaps more importantly, Scotland's potential to re-enter into the EU would shift the economic balance of power, leaving the UK more isolated while Scotland grows stronger. The stakes for Westminster are incredibly high, which explains why the UK government's fierce resistance to the idea of Scottish independence is laid bare. For Scotland, however, independence presents an opportunity to take control of its own wealth, chart its own economic path, and thrive in a future free from Westminster's financial constraints. And as the UK struggles under the weight of both Conservative and Labour mismanagement of the economy, the case for Scottish independence becomes clearer every day. Scotland could manage its resources, retain its wealth, and make decisions that prioritise its people, not the interests of Westminster. If anything, Scotland's independence would offer a future where its wealth is used to benefit its people, not to prop up an unsustainable and unstable UK economy. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at the actual revenue Scotland generates, the non-identifiable expenditures that are forced upon Scotland, creating a perceived deficit that we are told is economic mismanagement by the Scottish Government. Until then, I hope you have an amazing day. Just wait, before you go, I've discovered a great video that shows Murdo Fraser showing everything that the Union would lose if Scotland went independent, and this was broadcast live on the television. Enjoy this as the ending to today's video.
If Scotland leaves the UK, we lose roughly a third of the landmass of Great Britain, probably around half of our territorial waters. We lose the magnificent resource that is Scottish fishing waters. We lose the opportunities from North Sea oil and gas. We lose the potential for renewable energy from Scotland's coasts and in the North Sea and the Atlantic. We lose access to barrier-free trade for Scotch whisky and Scotch salmon, all these fantastic exports, the opportunity to study at some of the world's greatest universities in Scotland, and the joy of having Scots as part of the British nation. Why would you want to throw that away?